Pedro. Believe you can mute and present now.
Hi, Jens. Hello. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Nice to meet you and come here to the Denmark group.
Yeah, nice to have you, and thank you for submitting and supporting the user group. Looking forward to it. So my understanding is 30 minutes, 40 maybe?
Yeah, between 35 maybe the presentation and then time for Q&A, I think.
Yes, perfect. Just perfect. How's the weather?
Not too bad at the moment. And it's a coincidence to come to the meetup. I will meet you because I'm going with 2 SQL Beats with the team. So definitely we'll meet. And one of the sessions I had registered is your Azure Data Camp session.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
yeah,
good.
So at least me and I think one of my team members are going because I'm too focused on the Power BI and I need to expand a little bit more on the Synapse and Data Factory. So maybe you are the guy to help me on that.
Yeah, I hope so.
So definitely should be fun, and we'll get to know each other personally there for sure.
Yeah, that's going to be a great day.
Okay, let me just see if everything is okay with my projection.
Yeah.
Okay.
See it?
It's okay?
Yep. Are you still there? Nope. Guess not.
Okay, I think I dropped for a second. Let me just see if I can reshare.
There we go again. Yes, we see your presentation.
Okay, cool. So I'll be opening just the stuff I need while we have a few minutes.
Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, I'll have some intro slides as well. So maybe you're on 5 minutes past.
Okay. So I'll stop the sharing to let you do the first part then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll give you a quick intro and hand it over to you.
Okay, sounds good. So the user group right now has about over 2,000 members, right, on Denmark?
Yes, it's huge.
Are you guys doing some live meetups, a mix? How's it going right now?
Yeah, we had one in November last, so they are being spread out across the year. So 2 to 4 we aim for each year. But currently we are planning the Data Saturday, which is the week after SQL Bits. So that's taking up quite some time to get that together.
Yeah.
So yeah. So, but somewhere between 2 to 4 meetings in person a year is what we aim for, and then this one meeting once a month.
Okay, that's ambitious. We're trying, with after the COVID in the Power BI Portugal group, we're trying also to have that balance, at least like one in Port and one in Lisbon. But sometimes it's difficult to, after work and people are not at work all day, so that kind of stuff. Sometimes it's tough. Yeah,
it is, and attendance is it's tricky to project how many will actually show up, depending on the daily form.
I believe, yeah. And even Power BI cannot help us enough with that.
I know. So how long you've been running the Portuguese group?
About 4 years.
Okay, that's also a long time.
Yeah, we have about 3,700 members right now. Wow. So it's quite big for the size of Portugal.
Yes. So how many do live in Portugal?
11 million.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And is it always new stuff, or are you circling back to you can take a session on Power Query or?
Yeah, what we did this year, for instance, we opened a sessionized call for speakers, and then people submitted their sessions, and then we did a pool. We put all the sessions in the first meetup of the year. We put all the sessions without the name of the speakers, just with the names of the sessions.
Yeah, okay.
And to see people what are, for instance, they were interested, in some integration with Power BI and Python. They were interested in some governance. They were interested, a couple topics. And then we picked the couple sessions, data marts. So we picked a couple sessions on the things they voted the most.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm having trouble finding speakers actually. So we are planned in a little bit in the future, but it's not too far out. So I'm looking to ways to actually broaden the personnel there.
Yeah. So if there is any topic that you're interesting that you're looking for, you can send me an email. I know maybe a lot of people from the Portuguese community that have interesting sessions. It depends on the topic.
Yeah. Well, you can share the link maybe. So we have it's a monthly 1 hour meetup.
Yeah.
And we do get a lot of kind of corporate or, business consultants that want to sell their services and they kind of wrap it in a session about something, and sometimes it's easy to spot that this is a sales pitch for something else.
Yeah, I always try to to understand prior if it's going to be like that or if it's going to be just a slightly is okay.
Yeah, sure. Still trying to learn this meetup messages system. I'm getting notifications. There are messages for me, but I can't find them anywhere.
Yeah, it's not that good to follow up questions from the people. No.
So you can get notification on messages for the event, on the group itself, in the event chat, and direct messages. And it's 4 different places that you have to look. Yeah.
It's a lot to cover.
It is. But the voting part, that was clever. I think I'm going to copy that, maybe as a vote in a post on the meetup group.
Yeah, it was something new that we tried. We planned the first 6 months of the year with the sessions, and we opened the titles of the sessions, and so we got the feedback from what was more interesting for the people. And then we tried to balance having like 50% of local speakers with 50% international MVP speakers, etc.
Yeah, we could do that as well. I have both local and international speakers submitting, so that's pretty good.
Curiously about this presentation, I was that is regarding PowerPoint and Power BI integration. I was trying to use the integrated camera inside the PowerPoint. When you insert the cameo, and it's just working terrible with a terrible lag. I was trying just before this presentation. I was trying to put switch from my image to integrated camera in PowerPoint, and it just lags like hell. So I had to remove it.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
too good. Just give people a couple of minutes to trickle in.
Sure.
Are you using Stream Deck for a presentation?
No. I thought I considered that, but still haven't given the step. Are you using it?
No, I have bought one, just to play around with, but yeah, I just noticed you unmute and mute pretty fast. So I was thinking maybe you have a short key or something.
No, it's because maybe I'm a former semi-professional gamer like StarCraft and other stuff. So I play with a lot of actions per minute. I'm really fast.
Well, that could be an interesting talk at some other time.
Absolutely.
So do you have your costume ready for bits?
There is like a costume contest, right?
Yes. Well, it's not a contest. It's more a costume party. So on Friday night, it's Dungeons and Dragons.
Amazing. What do you think it's too much?
Well, there's nothing too much. So it's just, I think if you Google SQL Bits and famous speakers, you will see some very good outfits throughout the years. It's quite popular.
That should be fun, definitely. Give me just a second just to remove here this other chair, and I'll be back.
Yes.
I see the comment from Lars. No custom is too much. Thanks, Lars.
No, I think it's a free game. All right. I'll just slowly pick it up from here. So just to let everybody in on the agenda. So just a slight information slide on the user group, some upcoming events, and then a shameless promotion of the pre-cons for Data Saturday Denmark. And then we'll kick off the real presentation of today with Pedro. So now we're up to 2,275 members, and we're about 100 signed up for each meeting. Not everybody is attending, so it's about 60, 70 people every time. And we're slowly seeing some activity on the YouTube channel. I'm too busy actually to put up the last couple of recordings. And I will also record this session so that it can be posted on the YouTube channel. We're still aiming for 2 to 4 in-person events a year. Nothing is planned at the moment due to the next slide, maybe. So the Data Saturday Denmark is a conference where I'm part of the committee, and we're lining up about 25 speakers on all things data, Power BI, Azure, and so on. The free conference is sold out 200 tickets sold, but the pre-cons are still available. It's a full day training, and I'll go into details with those. Other than that, there's the MS-BIP user group, the Microsoft Data Platform User Group Denmark, and also Power BI Cruise that you should look into. It's a 2-day cruise with intensive Power BI training. Obviously, SQL Bits coming up in a month. Also Data Saturday Stockholm and Oslo later this year. The pre-cons that we are offering at Data Saturday is one of 3. So one is Asgeir Gunnarsson, Icelandic and Danish Power BI MVP, where he's giving a full day speak on administering Power BI, premium Power BI on-premise gateway, and governance in general. The other pre-con is with Sander Stad and Kevin Chant on GitHub, setting up GitHub runners and getting your actions set up in GitHub, and kind of getting the flow together with that. So Kevin has an extensive blog post on what's actually going to be included in that pre-con. So the final one is a Power Up Power BI skills with Pragati Jain and Augustin Bukvich. And it's going to be covering all concepts of Power BI. So Power Query, data modeling, DAX, visualizations, Power BI service, and so on. All of these is about 300 euros for a full day conference, which is quite cheap. So you should definitely look into that. And then I see Lars has posted a question in another master DAX workshop in the chat, so you can go have a look at that in April. And Eric is posting the Power BI link to the Power BI cruise. So did I see a raised hand or no? Okay. On to the session of the day. I will begin the recording. Recording has already started. Someone logged on early, I think. Okay. So if you're not interested in taking part of a recording, you should leave. The pre-con is held in Lyngby. I see the question in the chat, and it's in person only. I will share the link for the pre-cons in the chat afterwards, or when Pedro is on the move. So moving on to today's presentation. Pedro is kind enough to give us a half hour, 45 minutes of his time to share his knowledge on how to go from Power BI to PowerPoint presentation. Pedro is leading the Portuguese Power BI user group. He's co-founding and also a data platform MVP. He's a certified trainer, so all merits are in order. He's working with a company in Portugal, which is a business unit of the second biggest French banking group, or something in that manner. So okay. So it's a financial kind of work. Today, Pedro will show us Power BI to PowerPoint, and I really hope you enjoy the presentation. And please, over to you, Pedro.
Very much, Jens. So good morning / good afternoon, everyone. So it's 11 in the morning in Portugal. I believe it's 12 right now in Denmark. So nice to meet everyone. My name is Pedro Reis. Thanks for the presentation, Jens. So I'll fast forward in that part in the presentation and add maybe just one fun fact or another one. Let me share my screen with you guys. Just a second. Let me know just that everything is okay, and I'll move on. It's okay?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so our presentation today is from Power BI to PowerPoint presentation, done in 5 seconds. 5 seconds is the time just it gets to get some data directly from the Power BI service into PowerPoint. We'll do that and go into a lot of more detail during the presentation. So what I want to share is during the demo today, I'll show you how you can connect directly your PowerPoint to a Power BI live presentation in just a couple of seconds. As you can see here, we just connected, we get the data directly into Power BI. I'll show you also the features like getting new data, refreshing data, which filters you can pass to this, like selecting slicers. Also, how the navigation works directly in the PowerPoint. And even if you want to save your PowerPoint as a static image, I'll also demonstrate how we can do it. So this is a bit of what we're going to cover during this session. I'll also start with some PowerPoint facts and figures because I want to start with the history and why this feature was born and which problems does it solve. And as just one point, I'll also want to share some issues regarding the PowerPoint on supporting the data-driven decisions and how we can improve that process. So as Jens mentioned, I'm from a fellow community from the Portuguese Power BI Portugal community. We have over 3,700 people, and like the Danish group, we organize like monthly meetups. We have a mix of local and international speakers. I've never been to Denmark, but I really would like to go one time. I hope to go because I hear it's a very happy country and with some fantastic beer, some of my favorite brands. So I'm really looking forward to go on a future time. You have my contacts here if you want to connect with me after the session and check out some of my sessions or just drop me an email. So PowerPoint. Let's start with PowerPoint. As everyone knows, almost everyone has used it. It's the most used and widely adopted presentation software. It really has changed the way that we communicate and that we present information. And you can see here in this old screenshot, it was first developed in 1984 by Robert Gaskins and Dennis Austin. And the first name, maybe you don't know this, was a presenter. And it was a tool to present graphics and texts in a dynamic and interactive way. In order to continue the development, this team needed to raise some capital. And so Apple was expanding its scope. And this was one of the strategic products to be launched for the Macintosh computer system. So in January 87, right in the beginning of 87, they were going to register the trademark presenter, but to everyone's surprise, this name was already registered. So they picked another name, the PowerPoint. And so in 87 comes the name PowerPoint in the Mac. Then, in the same year, in 1987, roughly in the middle of the year, in July, Microsoft took over PowerPoint with an acquisition by around $14 million. So it's a huge amount at that time. And it became a core component of what would become the Microsoft Office. I think this image is really cool, and you can see, the old Word menu, the Excel menu, PowerPoint. It's really going back in time in looking at this. So since the rest is history, PowerPoint has gone many updates, improvements, and it became one of the most popular, the most popular presentation software in the world. The latest features have a lot of things like real-time collaboration, transforming images to text, removing backgrounds, image editing, predefined layouts that everyone can use very quickly, the embedded camera, which doesn't work so good, but there is a lot of things in the PowerPoint. So PowerPoint is also a critical software in terms of, and there is over 120 million people using it to create business and educational presentations worldwide. So the impact on these two lines is undeniable. It really has revolutionized the way that we communicate and that we present information and makes it easier and more efficient than ever before. You have the ability to add images, you have the ability to add videos and animations, and so it can make presentations more engaging and interactive, or it can also make it a bit more boring if you don't engage properly the audience. But it has allowed the businesses and education to reach a wider audience for sure, allowing them to share and distribute their presentations online. In the recent years, the PowerPoint has undergone many advancements and innovations, and so it's part of what we call right now the Office 365 suite with the online version, which allows us, for instance, to work with online collaboration and many other things like all the Office 365 suites. So time lapse going forward to 2023. So do you guys know how popular PowerPoint is? If you think for a second, do you imagine how many users PowerPoint currently has? I give you 10 seconds to think of a number. If anyone wants to share in the chat like a number without cheating and going to Google or ChatGPT or something. Anyone want to guess a number of millions? 750? Anyone else? Okay, 750 is a good figure. 850, and no one can log into ChatGPT right now. Yeah, that's a good point unless you pay the $20. So going to some facts and figures, in fact, it's estimated that over 500 million people use PowerPoint worldwide, with some sources reportedly reaching 1 billion users. So it's good guesses, somewhere between 750, 850, there are really good guesses. And there are reportedly over 35 million presentations with PowerPoint each day, which is about 30 billion hours each year spent on creating and preparing PowerPoint presentations. And these figures are amazing and demonstrate how important it is to have an accurate and updated method of presenting information that is synthetic and reliable, right? So PowerPoint is a trick, but if you can see the volume of presentations that are done, billions of hours are spent on these creation tasks and copy-paste and stuff like that, and often problems arise. So if you found yourself spending hours updating a presentation only to realize the information is outdated, or if you had to rush because you needed to spend a lot of time formatting or updating the charts, well, you're not alone. A lot of people spend a lot of time typing these tasks. Maybe not so much. Part of the audience is largely part of the IT. So I'm sure you guys try to automate everything possible. If you are from the business side, this is a very common scenario for sure. So what are some of the common issues with the PowerPoint in this process? The first one is I summarized this into 4 common problems. The first one is the time waste. Presentations are often recurring, and the figures presented in the slides need maintenance and updates, which are it's almost in all of the cases manual. Exporting some data from systems, creating charts, copy-pasting them into PowerPoint presentations every time, it's a lot of time consuming. Other point is the data quality. The fact that most updates are manual make it more prone to human error. For example, forgetting to update a slide, making a mistake on updating some data, copying the chart with the wrong figures to PowerPoint. Without a direct link between the presentation and the data source, there will always be the probability for error and data quality issues. Issue number 3, it's static. If many of us for sure have prepared the presentation with many slides and figures, and there will always be a time when a question comes in which the slides don't have the information readily available. It might be possible if you just change the context and apply the filter on a report on a country or a product category, something like that, or drilling down to some details. With PowerPoints, the presentations are statics unless you have a lot of annexes. That can always be a problem. And the final problem, for my point of view, is the data synchronization. Data continuously changes, and if you want to capture the data at a specific time, then you'll need the availability to capture the designated data at the designated time. For instance, you have a cumulative year-to-date total at the end of each month. According to how the reports are set up, this might be easier or harder to get if the data continues to evolve, if it's live connected. So in other case, you are gathering the values for your presentation, but imagine that a fix was implemented in the source. A few values changed. And if you present now after you had presented and the values change in the source, the stakeholders might look at a value slightly different than they saw on the other source. This will undermine the confidence they have in your message, so it would be great for PowerPoint to allow this direct integration. This was possible already to some extent, by connecting PowerPoint to some Excel elements. So you created like a query, like you with Power Query in Excel. You create a chart, and then you can link the chart as a linked object into PowerPoint, and all these links can be updated automatically. Well, this is possible at some extent, but still needed VBA to some extent and these kind of things. So also it's not completely automated. So there is a better way now with the Power BI and the PowerPoint. And since May 2022, a new feature was released that allows directly to connect a PowerPoint page to a Power BI presentation. So enough talking, we'll go to the demo. And for the demo, what I'll start is I am here in my Power BI service environment. And I have here a couple of workspaces. Some of them are on premium per user. And I have one just to show you that this works perfectly with the Pro. So I can just open my workspace. And you see here I have a sample report, a marketing report that we'll use for these demonstration purposes. But when I open the report, I can see it's a very simple demo report. You have some KPIs like the revenue year to date, the targets, and some data regarding the number of customers and the market share. So I can just, change the context of my report, and I can see I have 3 countries. I can see all the countries. I have this page, the executive summary. I have a couple of other pages. One of them is like a customer analytics page where you can see the evolution month by month of how many customers you acquired. Like you had 393. On the next month, you gained 21 and you lost 12. So you go up to 402 total customers. So this is just a sample report that we'll be using. And previously, you already have in this section on the export, you already had the famous option to analyze in Excel, where it opens the pivot table. Now that opens on the Power BI service, that you can analyze your data just as in Excel, a pivot table. You had the PDF export, generates a PDF with, you can generate it with the current values or with the default values of the report for all the pages or just for the current page. This was already possible. And the new options, you have the PowerPoint. You can either embed as an image, and I can click here. I want to, let's go with the default values and just the current pages to be faster. And I can click on it, and it's going to generate my export just to PowerPoint as a static image connected to this page. So you can integrate this in your report, but it's not so much efficient than taking a screenshot of your report and putting it in your presentation, right? So there is a new way right now, which is, I need to wait until this loads, which is on the PowerPoint, I can embed directly an image. And I will show you exactly this behavior that you have, right? Can embed the live data, and I'll show you this behavior that we have. I can click on the embed the live data. Okay. I will just wait to open and show you the other one that just finished first. It's right opening the other screen. Okay. And here is the output of my export. So I have a sample cover page, and then you can see this is a completely static image. So I cannot do anything, I cannot update it, I can't do anything. So it's just an image that we exported. The second option then is to embed the live data. And on embedding the live data, I can export the report with the filters that I selected, or I can just use the default values, okay? So I can copy this and paste it into Power BI, or I can just click here and ask it to open directly a new PowerPoint file with this link. So let's try it out. Okay, so it's loading. And you see that in a couple of seconds, we have our data loading directly in the PowerPoint. And to prove it's completely interactive, you can see that I can change the context to USA, Mexico, and everything is working just fine as it was expected. So how cool is this, right? Really, it can save you a lot of time. The next time that you open this workbook with this slide, it will be updated, it will get new data. So I'm sure that a lot of guys will save a lot of time with this, because lastly, some of the reports are being created so that they can be used directly into PowerPoint presentations. So this takes care of that part. Okay, so I've shown you one way to get it directly from the service. If you want to create a new, let's create a new slide here and just delete this. And I can insert it. If you're doing this the first time from the PowerPoint side, you can also get an add-in from the Insert tab, and you can search for the Power BI, okay? You have the Microsoft Power BI add-in. Out of curiosity, there was already an add-in that existed a couple of years ago, a paid add-in that was already possible to connect Power BI with PowerPoint. This was developed by a Portuguese Microsoft partner. And now we have this natively, this feature directly with the Microsoft Power BI plugin. So I can just add it to PowerPoint. And once I add it, you'll see this is loading here, or I have here directly the plugin. You can see it here, the Power BI plugin. Okay. So once I add it, let's start from the beginning, and let me increase this a little bit more to be easier for you guys to follow. Now I can copy an URL from Power BI. So let's try it out. I can export PowerPoint, embed live data, and I can, with the filters I've selected, so with the all, I can copy this, go back to the presentation and copy it here and insert it. Let's try it out. Okay, so I can see that the filters that I had applied were the ones that were passed. Let me duplicate this slide just to illustrate some things. So when I have the slide here I can, if I want, I can then, if I want to bring then the data for each of the countries, and I want to prepare my presentation, our user wants to have a slide with all the countries and wants to have a slide for each of the countries. So what I can do is I have a couple of options here on the bottom, and I can either refresh directly the data here from the Power BI. This one is refreshed, so nothing will happen. I can also open a filter pane that you can see here. And you can see if, for instance, I want to select just a couple of year months. So I can just select them here. And you can see the data points that we have here. So I can use this filter pane. And I have options to clear the data, and I can bring new data with already a page prepared with the plugin. So I'm going to clear this, and I'm going back to the Power BI service, and I'm going to get now I will apply the USA filter, and I'm going to get the link. You see, I can do this so that I can get the link with the filters that I selected. Let's test it out. I'm going to bring it here with USA, so it's loading. And you can see now I have a page with I have a page with USA. Let's do it. If I change here this value to Mexico, for instance, and I save this presentation and I come back to it, you'll see that this filter will not be here, and I'll explain it during the presentation why. So the only way that on the next time you open the presentation, you have the correct value, you need to copy the URL with the filters that you want to pass it, okay? So let me do it one more, just for one more country, just for the demonstration purposes. And I can copy the link here with the Mexico, and I can copy it here and insert it. I can delete this page. I can delete the first one. We will do a presentation just with the 3 pages, okay? Just to illustrate that you can have just one page, and during your presentation, you can just cycle the different countries and pitch your presentation with that. But if you want to add some annotations on top of it, some comments, have a different header for each of them, then you might want this method that I'm demonstrating, in which you want your presentation updated, but you want slides with a different context on each of them, okay? So I'm going to save my presentation. Let me save it, dynamic presentation. So I'm just going to save it here as a dynamic marketing report presentation, and I'm going to save it here, okay? So next step, I have my presentation, and let's demonstrate that when I have it. Where is it? So if I just have the last country here and I change it to Canada, the last one, let me save it, and I'm going to close it, and I'm going to reopen the presentation again. So let's see what happens. So the first page is loading. Okay, so I have the filter with all. The second page is loading, and the last one, it's loading, and I have the Mexico. You see that even if during the presentation I changed it to Canada, it was not saved, because the filters that are passed to the report are the filters that I copied with the URL. So when you are on the Power BI service and you are on the report, if you just copy this, the filters that you have it here will be the ones that are passed. So any URL that you can pass with the filters will be passed to the PowerPoint. Okay. So our demo user wants to have a report with the one page for each of the countries, and wants to have a general page with all the data. Now, there is an option that he can expand here, this little button that you see here. And if you want to make sure that the data is verified and we have the data until the end of November, and on the next time you open the presentation, you want to make sure that there isn't any new data or there isn't any update. So how can you do this? You can do it with the show as saved image. So this image now is static, and you can see I cannot click on it. I can't do anything. If I want at any point to reverse this process, I can unclick the show as saved image, and it will retrieve back the same data from the URL that was saved here in this object, okay? And the URL that was saved has the filter context for 2022 and for all of the countries, okay? So I see some questions. Let me take a second to answer them while we go. Question from Lars: are there any access control access to the workspace, or can anybody in the organization with a pro license edit the filters as they want? So basically the context, you need to make sure that you have access to the report. When you open the presentation, the page will refresh. You have your user logged in. And so the same access that you have, if there is a role level security, it will be the access you must have. So you must have access to the report when you open it, unless it was saved as a static image. So that was the first point. Second question from Domantas. Is this behavior anyhow related with the persistent filters setting in Power BI? Well, exactly. Basically, you the URL that you pass here to the PowerPoint, you need to make sure that you have the filters that you need to bring to the context. Otherwise, it was like I demonstrated. I can click on another object and it will not be saved in my PowerPoint presentation. When it refreshes, it gets again. It's like opening the page, the URL. If I open it in the browser, it's exactly the same behavior. It will bring the same data. Okay. Okay, so I think there is no more questions for the moment. I will move on. So I've demonstrated this, that we can show as a saved image, but imagine a scenario that actually I wanted, each month to generate a presentation that has like 30 or 40 slides, with different scenarios. And although I can do the exploratory and analytics, I would like just to store a version of this report without having to do that for all the slides. Also on this feature, imagine that the scenario that I can expand the filter pane, and when I show a saved image, even all the the filter pane expansion, if I had clicked on a bookmark or on a button, this will also be saved statically in the image. Okay, so I will revert it back. So this feature is good, but if you need to do that, the only way to do it is a little bit programmatic. Another question, is it dynamic in presenter? Is it dynamic in presenter mode? I'm not sure what you mean by dynamic. Christina, if you want to share it, I will pick back the question in a second. Okay.
I think maybe Christina means when you are presenting, can you then dynamically change the content of the slide that you are presenting?
Yeah. So we can, if I do this, let me try if I can. You can see I am in the presentation mode and I can change the context. Okay, just a second. Okay, so back to the presentation. So you can see it's perfectly dynamic in both the modes, of course. Okay, so what I want to test now is I want to show a method that I'm going to save this. If I want to convert all the images at once, there is a possibility to this. And so let me save this presentation in a different way. And I'm going to save it as a macro-enabled presentation. So where is it? PowerPoint, macro-enabled presentation. Okay, I can save it here. And if we want to do this and convert all the images, for your knowledge, it's possible to do it. I have here a small set of code that I got from the blog of Eric Svensson. You have here the link. I think even Eric is here. So thanks for sharing this code. As you can see, it's useful for the presentation. And so what I can do, I'm going to show it. I can copy this to our presentation and I can create, for instance, a new macro. So save images. Let's give it a name. I can create this macro. I have it here in the other window. I can copy this module here. Okay. And I'll show you in a second the behavior. I'll also create another module. I'm going to create another one. Save file name, file, something like this. And I have here a second part of the code, which is every month, if I need to convert all the images and save them with like the date and the year that it was published, the year month, and save it without the suffix or the prefix, I can adjust it and save it like with this kind of macro. So I'm going to create a second small module here. And now we can do the test of how this works. So I can save it. And now, for instance, I can run and convert the Power BI to images. You can see that it's running. Let's test it in a second. Okay, so let's test. And you can see now it has converted all the screenshots to static images, so I cannot interact anymore, all of them. And if I run the other macro, I can save it, I can run it, and you'll see that this will generate. It has generated a file. You see something like this with the year 2023-02, so the year month that we're in. We can adjust the code for your output. So this is another example of very quickly joining these two together. You can just automate to this. VBA to the rescue for sure, because I think that a lot of people, I want to give this suggestion, because if a lot of people need to have the slides with all the different scenarios, then you can save some time on this for sure. Okay. So now I want to show another scenario where I'm going to close this one, and we'll have new data. New data will have the month of December, new data. So I have here the report on the Power BI desktop, and I have here a dummy calendar that I created, and the calendar is limited until November, and I'm going to update it until December. Okay, I can share the link for the article, and also the other one to save. So the two codes, I can attach it in the meeting in the end of the meetup. Okay. So I just updated our calendar, and now I will have data until December. So I want to illustrate also something interesting that happens, and let me open again my presentation, not this one. Okay. So let me open this one, and you'll see that it's loading the first slide. Okay. So it loaded the first slide, and I see that I have the data until November. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to publish my new report. I'm going to save it with the December data, and let's put it here. I'm going to replace the data sets. Okay, got it. So it's done. And now we can see that I am in this page, and I continue to see the November data. If I go to the second page, because I have not loaded before, it will load the first time, and let's see what is the behavior. And now we can see that I already have the data for December. If I go to the other country, the same thing will happen, because it loads when you load the page. So this is something just to be aware of that I wanted to share. So if I go here to this page, I can just click on the refresh, and now I will be able to get, you see, now I have the data for December. Just be aware of this. If you have a presentation open already, make sure that you know about this. A final aspect that I want to share too is that you can also use the navigation in your report. So I can click, you see here, I can click on the different pages. For instance, I can navigate to the customer analytics. So this is quite nice. I can navigate with the buttons, with the bookmarks, everything that is an object in the report. I can navigate between the different pages. However, I do not have the tab, as you can see, as I have here, the tab on the Power BI service. I am unable to do this navigation like I have it here. So this is something just to be aware, because if you want then to allow on the PowerPoint this navigation, you need to make sure there is a possibility and there are some buttons to do it. So going back to our PowerPoint, so I want to do a small recap of things that we have seen so far. So now you know that you can link a PowerPoint slide to a Power BI report. You need to install the Power BI add-on on PowerPoint via Store. You can pass the filter values from the report to your PowerPoint, but the changes to filters inside PowerPoint only produce effect during the actual presentation. So if you close it or reopen, what you need to know is that the filters are passed through the original URL that you passed in when you use the add-on. The navigation between the pages must be through the bookmarks, because you don't have the navigation pane that you have on the Power BI service. And the data is refreshed in Power BI upon the slide open. Also important to retain. You can save the Power BI frame to a static image and revert back later. If you use the other method with the VBA, if you have a lot of slides and need something like that, well, you cannot revert that back. Also important to know that not all the visuals work with this integration. So going to the next page, two documentations that I think it's important to share. One of them, there is a page that I placed a link here in the presentation, which is that there is a set of visuals that are not supported. For instance, the R and Python, some of the Power Apps and Power Automate, Esri, ArcGIS, paginated reports, things that are not supported. So you have here the link that you can see the different visuals that are not supported. Also, regarding the administration information, there is also a page to guide if you are from the admin side to know the licensing considerations, what is required. For instance, the users must have a Power BI account, Power BI free, and must have the access to the report. Okay, so it's exactly the same principle. With Pro, you can access what you have in the Pro workspace. With Premium, a free user that has the access to something that is in the Premium can have the access. It's pretty much the same behavior. So I hope you enjoyed this session, and by now you know a little bit more about the behavior of PowerPoint and Power BI together. I will add the file here. I don't know, Jens, how do you prefer just for the slides and for the link of the code, if I can add it here in the chat, or afterwards you want to share it after?
You can add it in the chat and I can share it from here afterwards. That's perfectly fine.
Okay, cool.
So there are two questions still in the chat. One is drill-through also possible when it's embedded?
Drill-through is also possible when it is embedded, yes. So you can click on it, yeah.
And then another one, can we turn off the feature in the admin portal?
Can we turn off? So yes. So the same thing as the export, the analyze in Excel, the export to PDF and the PowerPoint. In each of the settings on the admin portal, you can configure if you want to disable for the entire organization, or if you want to disable just for specific security groups, or even just make it available. So you can, now it's a very nice feature. All these admin portal settings, you can configure if it's for the organization or just for some security groups by exception or by default.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. So there was one thing that I noticed. So the business-to-business scenario is not covered and not supported in this. That's just maybe something to take into consideration as well. So you can't share outside your organization.
Yeah, absolutely. With the new options of the B2B, definitely that's a case to consider. Yeah.
Okay. I think that's it. There are no more questions, and you answered all of the questions that I prepared up front, so that's pretty good. And with that, I think we will send you off with a big thanks for a great presentation on how to get the Power BI in PowerPoint.
No, it was really my pleasure. I'm really happy for the invitation, and I hope to see you guys soon. Some of you at SQL Bits, if some of you are going, definitely we can meet and network a little bit, have a beer, and talk about some fun stuff. Or absolutely. In a future meetup, I would be delighted to come and even invite you guys, some of you, to come to a Power BI Portugal meetup as a speaker or as an attendee too. Okay?
That would be great. That would be great. All right. Have a good day, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.